Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be the session number 4 of our SQL Essential Learning course. In this video, we will talk about tables, which is the most important component of any RDBMS because whatever data you are storing in a structured data, that will eventually get stored in form of tables. Let's have a quick recap what we have learned so far. So we have covered the history of SQL and the general information about SQL. We have started learning about components of RDBMS and we have covered databases and schema so far. So in today's video, we will see about tables. We will see what is a table, how to create a table, how you can modify the existing structure of a table, how you can insert data, how you can update data, data, how you can delete all the rows from a table, and how you can drop the table itself. Whatever possible operations you can think of, we can do on a table. We will see all of them in a practical way in today's video. So let's start with what is a table. Let me explain with a practical example. Suppose you are the owner of a company called XYZ. You have lot of employees working in that company. You want to store all the employee information, right? So you start writing down the information of all the employee, their name, age, address, and contact. You another employee joined the company, you store his information as well, name, age, address, contact. Then another employee has joined the company, you store that information also in the notepad. But this is not the effective way, right? Suppose you have lakhs of 10 lakhs of employees in that company, how you will maintain all the data, right? If you want to update any employee information, suppose you want to change the address of Harsh from India to UK, you need to search manually and do it, which is a hectic way. And that is not at all a efficient way because from the database definition, you know now, right? That our database is the structured collection of data, structured and organized. This is neither structured nor organized. So if you want to organize this data in a better way, what way you can think of? So you can create a structure something like this. Okay, you can have name, you can have age, address, and contact in a format like this. So this format is nothing but a table. Okay, so this all these four entities, right? Name, age, address, and contact. This is known as columns, and all these horizontal entities, these are known as rows. And these vertical things, this name is one column which have multiple multiple employees names stored in that column. This age is another column of the table which have age of multiple employees stored in the column. Address is another column which have all the addresses of different employees stored in the column. Similarly, contact have another column. So this table has four columns and it has three rows. This is a structured way and organized way. So this is called as a table of a database. So in a structured database, whatever information you want to store, you need to store in this format. And these columns have some specific rule associated with it. Either it can have a primary key or a foreign key. That all we will talk about in a separate video. But in general, like all these column have some rules associated with it so that we can maintain some data consistency and some data quality. One basic rule is like each column will store a similar type of data. Like one thing you would have noticed here, like in this name column, only we have a character data stored in this column, right? You cannot store any number here because the data type of this column is a character or varchar. While defining the table, we need to give the data type also of each column. Similarly, the data type of this age column is integer or number. It means you cannot store a character here in the age column because the data type if this column is fixed, which is integer. The data type of this address column is again character or varchar. So you cannot store any special character or any number here. Similarly, the data type of this column is again a number. You can store only digits in this column. These are the basic rule of creating the table. You need to define the column names along with their data type. Okay, so creating the table means defining the column names and what is the data type associated with the column. It means what type of information you can store in the column. Like that, we need to define using a syntax. So this is the basic syntax for creating a table. You need to use create table, the schema name dot table name. If you are already inside that schema, you can skip this and directly you can use the table name. Then you need to give multiple columns name according to your need and the data type associated with that column. And if there is any other constraint you want to keep on that column, for example, you want to make that as primary key, or you want to make the column as foreign key, or you want to make that column as not null or unique, any other constraint you want to give, you can give. Like this way we can create a table. We will see in a practical way by creating the table and by performing all the possible operations on the table. Okay, so now I have come to our Postgres database screen where I've connected to a client called pgadmin. So I have created a database db underscore xyz because our company name is xyz. So I have kept the name like this. How to create a database we have covered already in a previous video. And inside this DB, I have created a schema called sch underscore xyz. This is also we have covered how to create a schema. You can watch the previous video if you want. But now since we have created this schema and this DB, I will directly connect to the schema. Right click and click on this query tool. It will give us a query editor where we can write the queries or the commands to create a table and do various operations on that table. Let me paste all the commands which we will need in this session. We will run all one by one and see. First of all, we need to create the table. So you can use this syntax create table. You need to give the table name. Then we need to give different column names, right? For example, we have lot of employees in our company, so we want to assign some ID to that employee. Then we want to give some name, like we want to save the name of that employee and the age of the employee. This is the information we want to store initially, so we can create a table like this. Let's run this command. Table created successfully. If you want to verify if the table has been created, you can write a command select star from the table. But since there is no data as of now, it will show a blank structure. Now notice these three columns have been created. It means our table has been generated with three columns: ID, name and age. This ID is a primary key because we have defined the constraint here, and the data type of this column is integer because we have defined here. Another column we had created as name, and the data type we have defined as varchar 30. So it has created a column with character varying 30. It means we can store up to 30 character inside this name column. If the name is greater than 30 character, it will not allow. Okay. Similarly, we have created a column age, and the data type we have given as integer. It has created the column as per our instructions. So this is the way to create a table, and this is a way to read the data from a table. But since there is no data, it's showing blank. Now we have noticed like we have only added three columns, right? But we want to store the email address also of each employee. So what we can do, we can modify or alter the table. Okay, the command is simple, alter table, table name. And if you want to add the column, you need to use this keyword add column. And what column you want to add, that you need to define. You want to add email column, and you want to keep the data type of the email column as varchar 50. You can simply run this command. Query returned successfully. It means that column has been created now. Again, if you want to verify, you can run select a star from this table. Now you notice another column has been added because of this command. Okay. Now you want to rename a column. You notice that you have given the second column as name, but that column you want to utilize to store the full name of the employee. So you want to rename this column as full name. So you can use this command alter table, table name, and rename column. This is the keyword rename column. Which column you want to rename? Name. And what name you want to keep now? You want to keep full name. So you will give rename column name to full name. If you run this command and again verify the structure, you see now this name has got changed to full name. Okay. Now another change you want, you notice that this age column will have only, it can have for example 1 to 99 value only, right? Because rarely some employee will have more than 99 age, but you have given the data type as integer, which can store a bigger number than 99. So it's a wastage of our storage, right? So you want to change the data type of that column to small int, because it will utilize some lesser space to store the age column. So you want to change the data type. So what command you can use? You can use alter table, table name. Then you need to give alter column. This is the keyword. Which column you want to alter? Age. What you want to change? Type to small int. Like that you need to give. If you run this command and verify the table now, you will see the data type of this age column has been changed to small int now. You can see here. So these are the things we can do on a existing table structure. Okay. Now, if you believe your table is ready to utilize, you can insert the data into the table. What command is there to insert the data? This is the command. Insert into table name. Then you need to give in what columns you want to insert the values. So first you need to give table name. In bracket you need to define all the column names in which you want to insert the data. Okay. Then you can start mentioning the value inside one set of small bracket. You need to give data separated by comma, so it will become one row of a table. Similarly, for another employee you will need to give another set of data in the small bracket, and this row you can separate by this comma. So in one go you can store multiple rows. Okay, comma is missing here. Like this. We will try to insert all the rows at once. Okay, you notice the error, column name of relation XYZ employees does not exist. You know why? Because we have modified the table and changed the name to full name. So you need to use full name now instead of name. Okay, let's try to run it again. You see insert 7 rows. We have 7 employees information now available in the table. Let's try to verify the data again using this command, select star from table. You can see we have successfully inserted all the employee data in our XYZ employee tables. Okay, now you notice something like the age of the employee Sam is 32 years, but his age is 33. You want to update this value. What you can do, you can simply write a query to update the data. You need to write update this table, update table name, then you need to give set age is equal to 33. Okay, but for which employee you want to set the age as 33? So you need to give the employee name as Sam. So here you need to give full name because we have changed the column now, where full name is equal to Sam. So this condition is very important because if you run the query till here only, it will update all the employees age to 33, which is a blunder. You don't want to update all the employees age to 32, 33, right? You want to update information of Sam only to 33. So you need to carefully run this command with the where clause. Okay, let me try to run it. You notice now the age of the Sam is 32. If you run this command, update one row updated successfully. Now again, if you want to see the data, now we will notice the age of the Sam has become 33. Earlier is what 32, now it has become 33. Okay, this is how you can do a simple update on any record, any row. Okay, now if you want to delete the data, suppose this employee Bob has resigned and you don't want to maintain his data, you can simply run a delete statement. But be very careful while running this delete statement because if you miss to give the condition carefully, it will delete. If you run only this command, it will delete all the rows from the table, which will be a big loss for you. So you don't, whenever you are running a delete command, make sure you are giving the proper where clause. If you want to delete the employee data of Bob only, you need to give this where full name is equal to Bob. So it will delete only one row from this table, which is this row number 1, employee ID 2. You see delete 1, it means one row got deleted. If you want to see, now you won't see Bob record here. Okay, earlier there were 7 rows, now there are only 6 rows, and employee Bob is missing from your data. This is how you can delete the data. And now if you want to delete all the rows from the table, you can simply use a truncate command, truncate table name. It will delete all the rows from the table, but it will maintain the structure only. Okay, so if you run this, it will remove all the data from the table. Now you run it, you won't find any data. Okay, but you can still see the structure of the table is there. If you want to delete the structure as well, then we have the drop command. This drop table name will drop the table itself completely, and it will remove all the structure along with the data. Let me show you. If you run this drop command, drop table successful. Now if you run this command, select star from XYZ employee, you will see does not exist because the table has been dropped with this drop command. That's it for this video. I will provide the link of this file in the comment section. You can utilize that. Please do let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. I will reply to that. Also, please subscribe to channel so that I get some motivation to make more such videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.